You're telling all these lies.
What's going on, guys? My name is Ben and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to do the traditional YouTuber style of video and bring you guys 5 things that I hate about my E92 BMW M3. Now, a small disclaimer, when making the video I really did struggle to think of 5 things. I just love this car so much, so essentially it really took a lot, and the 5 things that I mention may be kind of obvious or they may be kind of little things, but either way, no car is perfect, although this has to be the best car I've ever owned and I'm truly in love with it. So like I say, I really did struggle. But anyway, let's bring you guys the first thing that I hate about this car, and it has to be, rather unsurprisingly, the fuel consumption. Yes, who would have guessed that a 4-litre V8 would drink fuel? Well, obviously it does. Now, just to explain kind of how bad it is, at the time of filming this video, I've done a bit of B-road driving, a bit of 30 mile an hour through villages, things like that, and I'm averaging around 15 mpg. Not too bad. I know people, various M3 owners have worse, at around the 13 mark. It definitely depends how you drive it. However, I've got to say, for a V8, it's really not bad at all. I drove up to London last weekend and I just whacked it in cruise control, 70 mile an hour bang on, and I managed to get the car to 30 mpg. Now, again, for a V8, that is quite astonishing, really. Now, don't get me wrong, you don't buy a car like this and then worry about mpg or how many miles you get to a tank. However, as this is just a weekend car, I seem to be putting in a full tank every single weekend. Now, that does obviously add up, and if you add up what I'm paying for fuel, then that could be a monthly payment on a really cool car when you think about it like that. However, I'm not really that bothered because the soundtrack alone makes it so worth it. And again, it depends how you drive it. I daily drive a Peugeot 208, so if I want fuel economy, I'll just go jump in that at the end of the day. The second thing I hate about this car is the general fear and the kind of 2 major things that go wrong with the engine. Now, when you buy an E92 M3 at around 60 or 70,000 miles, it is recommended that you change the rod bearings. If you do not and they fail, scraps the engine, you're looking at 4 or 5 grand for a new engine, essentially. Luckily, my rod bearings were changed kind of just before I bought the car, really. They were changed at about 72,000 miles. The other thing that you need to worry about with these cars is the throttle actuators. Now, I have no idea if mine have been changed or not. There's no receipts. They could have been done and the previous owner has misplaced the receipts. I don't know. But when you're driving, and certainly when you're driving long distance, that does play on your mind. Like, what if they go now? Like, I'm 2 hours away from home. If they go now, my car's going to be in limp mode and I'm going to be stranded. So that really does play on your mind. Like, I want to take this car on a road trip at some point, but I will not even bother before I have had those at least checked or even replaced, just for peace of mind. Now, I feel this should have been a recall from BMW. Essentially, the gears inside are made of plastic. They degrade away and just fail, put the car in limp mode, and you're pretty much screwed. So yeah, at some point I'm going to change them, but it is quite an expensive job. I'll probably attempt it myself, to be fair. So the third thing that I hate about this car is this air vent. Now, let me explain. This one isn't actually functional and it doesn't do anything, whereas the passenger side one does. So whenever you wash your car or it rains, which it does a lot, this air vent fills with water, like so. And then when you come to drive the car, all this water will go over your nice clean bonnet and up the windscreen, which is rather annoying. Now, I may drill a hole in the bottom of this to get the water out. However, if there is a reason why this is blocked off, let me know in the comments below so I do not break my car. I don't want there to be anything electrical under here, or yeah, a valid, genuine BMW kind of reason why this isn't real. The fourth thing I hate about this car actually isn't an issue with my particular car now, as I have changed the exhaust. However, when this car is stock, the standard exhaust is just too quiet. It really sounds amazing. The standard exhaust really mutes and restricts the sound of the V8. Now, it doesn't sound bad, but you can definitely tell when it was standard that you'd rev it and it was just holding back. It felt like it needed to be unleashed a little, and that is exactly what I've done with my exhaust. If you haven't watched that video, you can click in the top right hand corner to watch me fit my new exhaust. But essentially what it is a standard OEM back box, and a company, there's a few companies that do that. I believe PCW done mine, but there is also a very popular company called Modstock who come to your house and do it. They essentially cut open your back box from the top, and inside there are 4 pipes, I believe. You can have 1.75 of these pipes covered, which gives you a little bit of an extra sound. 2 pipes covered, or in my case I have 2.5 pipes covered, which makes the car a lot louder and sounds so much sweeter when you're really on it as well. You can go really Asbone over the top and get all of the pipes covered, which is essentially like having a back box delete, but I thought I'd go for a kind of happy medium and go for the 2.5, plus I got a really good deal on the exhaust. Now, if you have one of these cars and it's standard and you're thinking about doing this exhaust mod, then I'd say 100% go for it. It transforms the car, it makes it a lot louder. It's not too bad in the interior. In fact, you get used to it very quickly, and then you start debating things like primary decaps. Who knows, maybe. But from the outside, definitely, it sounds so good. Now, the 5th and final thing that I hate about this car is the weight. Rather unsurprisingly, this is quite a heavy car, and it definitely, obviously, doesn't handle like no Porsche Boxster. And you can definitely feel the weight of the car going around twisty B roads like this. Once you go in, you can feel the body roll of the car, and you have to kind of adjust your seats a little just to hug you in a little bit more so you don't fall out the seat. You can kind of improve this characteristic by the press of the M button on the steering wheel, and my car has the optional EDC suspension, which stiffens everything up and ultimately reduces the amount of body roll. It's still there, but it's just not as bad. It also makes the road surface incredibly bumpy, and if it's not smooth enough, it will definitely throw you out your seat. So that's how firm it does get. But it does make a very drastic difference to the way the car handles. And I'm so glad this car has the optional EDC, because I feel if you don't have it, then you'd just be thrown around everywhere. The car would be too much like a boat going around a corner. See, I'm throwing me out my seat. However, then when you get out the corner and you bury the throttle, it's just got so much grunt. It just catapults you down the road and you forget all about the corners. If you want a good car for B roads, of course, I should have kept my Boxster. However, I feel this car does so much more that I'm just not bothered by the way it handles. It makes it more entertaining. It's a little bit more sketchy if you're not careful with the back end, but I just love it. Now, like I say, those were 5 things that I hate about my BMW E92 M3. They may be little things, some of them kind of unsurprising, but yeah, it was very difficult to think of 5 things really, because I just love this car so much. Now make sure you stay tuned, because the next video will be 5 things that I love about the car. Now I feel those are things that I can't just narrow down to only 5. I'd say it needs to be at least double, 3 or 3 times that, because this car is so good. Now anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the little notification bell. It really does mean a lot, and I love the support from you guys. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.